The Cuyahoga County Council regular meeting for Wednesday, November 9th is now called to order. Andre, would you please call the roll?
Good evening, everyone. It is now 5:04 p.m. As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Tuma,
Here.
Mr. Gallagher,
Here.
Mr. Schran,
Here.
Ms. Conwell,
Present.
Ms. Turner,
Here.
Ms. Stevens,
Present.
Ms. Simon,
Here.
Ms. Baker,
Here.
Mr. Miller,
Here.
Mr. Sweeney,
Present.
Council President Jones.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, Andre. At this time, let's stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Andre, has anyone signed in for public comment?
Yes, Council President, we have one person, Lou.
Yes.
Good evening.
Evening.
In a hurry, I did send all the information into email for all of you, but I know you guys were in committee of the whole meeting, so none of you could actually read it. However, we can go with the obvious. For the council members attended last week, Wednesday, the Health and Human Services and Aging Committee meeting. OHS director, she's so nice, giving lots of information. And she claims service provider, for example, Eden, is very responsive. Okay, let's see. 2016, a rare funding opportunity. The Hale could get a roof changed, but they did not bother to apply the actual funding to fix all the internal leaking created by the long-term leaking from the roof. So, the past Sunday, the room with all the elderly people, power wheelchair maybe, lots of walkers, even oxygen machine, this room started leaking again. Sure, being responsive, well, the call was made. Somebody did show up how many hours later. This person was very polite, but this person completely had no idea of this building. He doesn't know the layout. He even needed us to direct him where to go. So now, we ended up with 4 big bathrooms with multiple stalls and with a small one, with 200-something people in there. I'm not even counting the worker yet. I'm just counting about the people staying there. We only had 2 bathrooms left to use. So please tell me, this building still doesn't need to be demolished to rebuild. All the moles, all the pests, they have all been there living very well comparing to the people. $4 million, even only for this particular site, is not even enough to do that. Don't even say the men's shelter. Even all the guys can stay on the first floor. The entrance has never been wide enough for somebody with a power chair to actually go in. Yes, people don't consider homeless people are productive in the society. But don't forget, they had a time when they were not on the street or in the shelter. They were as contributing members just as everybody else. But when they get a hard time, ignored, neglected. Is that really right? Thank you for your attention. Please help.
Andre, is anyone else signed in?
That concludes the public comment portion for today's meeting.
All right, thank you. Can we have an approval of our minutes as presented on today's agenda? A motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All right.
She first, she second.
A motion by Councilwoman Turner and seconded by Councilwoman Conwell. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. At this time, we'll have messages from our county executive.
Thank you, Mr. President. I guess I'd first like to congratulate Chris Ronayne on his win for county executive. I anticipate he'll be coming in to this building probably next week. He has office space that's been set up by Public Works. It'll be on 8 in the area of the law area. There'll be, Public Works has already set it up with offices and pods and other places segregated from the law. And I'm sure that he would appreciate any of you, when you're in the building, to stop by and say hello. Switching, on Monday night, the Cuyahoga County Public Library celebrated its 100th anniversary at the Maltz Performing Arts Center. And I have to tell you, it was a wonderful, wonderful event. I proudly presented a proclamation on behalf of the county administration and the county council, and I think it was well appreciated. Our county library system is the #1 library system in the entire country. They've been a great partner to the county in many, many ways. They worked with us to create 3 innovation centers where folks can learn how to work on 3D printers and laser cutters and highly sophisticated computers. Their staff serves as benefits navigators, helping folks who need Medicaid or food stamps, SNAP, to obtain those benefits. They help inmates in the jail get their GEDs. They've partnered with us to create family spaces to provide support for young children and their families. They circulated hotspots during the pandemic for students in particular who couldn't otherwise get online. And they help with voter registration. And, by the way, they also have books. We're so lucky to have really the best library system here in our county, and we hope they'll be around for another 100 years. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, legislation introduced by council. Consideration of resolutions of council for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution 2022-0391, awarding a total sum not to exceed $89,642.27 to the West Shore Council of Governments for the purpose of purchasing new replacement equipment for the West Shore Technical Response Team from the District 1 and District 2 ARPA Community Grant Funds.
This item will be referred to the Public Safety and Justice Affairs Committee.
Resolution 2022-0392, awarding a total sum not to exceed $1,500,000 to the City of Brook Park for the Brook Park Central Campus Green Storm Project from the District 2 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will be referred to the Community Development Committee.
Resolution 2022-0393, awarding a total sum not to exceed $100,000 to the Rose Centers for Aging Well for the Rose Centers Meals Programs from the District 2 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will be referred to the Health, Human Services, and Aging Committee.
Resolution 2022-0394, awarding a total sum not to exceed $97,170 to the City of Lakewood for the Alternative Fuel Circulator Feasibility Study from the District 2 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will be referred to the Community Development Committee.
Resolution 2022-0394, awarding a total sum not to exceed, excuse me, Resolution 2022-0395, awarding a total sum not to exceed $43,015 to the Journey Center for Safety and Healing for repairs and upgrades for the Emergency Domestic Violence Shelter from the District 2 ARPA Community Grant Funds.
This item will be referred to the Health, Human Services, and Aging Committee.
Resolution 2022-0396, awarding a total sum not to exceed $750,000 to the West Park CAMS Neighborhood Development for the Old Lorraine Connector Project from the District 2 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will be referred to the Community Development Committee.
Resolution 2022-0397, awarding a total sum not to exceed $100,000 to the Bail Project, Inc. for the purpose of hiring an additional bail disruptor from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund and the general fund made available by the American Rescue Plan Act Revenue Placement Provision.
This item will be referred to the Public Safety and Justice Affairs Committee. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions of council for second reading.
Resolution 2022-0351, awarding a total sum not to exceed $250,000 to the West Creek Conservancy for the reclamation and adaptive reuse of the former Haydite mine from the District 6 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will move to the November 11th council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption.
Council President, it's November 22nd, 2022 council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. Okay?
All right.
Resolution 2022-0356, awarding a total sum not to exceed $250,000 to the Village of Chagrin Falls for the wastewater treatment plant Green Energy Efficiency Improvement Project from the District 6 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will move to the November 22nd council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2022-0361, awarding a total sum not to exceed $50,000 to Environmental Health Watch for the Fresh Fest Cleveland Urban Farm Food, Arts, and Music Festival from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will move to the November 22nd council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2022-0373, awarding a total sum not to exceed $50,000 to the Cleveland Clergy Alliance for the Stop the Violence Project from the District 10 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will move to the November 22nd council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2022-0374, awarding a total sum not to exceed $100,000 to the Journey Center for Safety and Healing for General Operations from the District 10 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will move to the November 22nd council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2022-0375, awarding a total sum not to exceed $129,420 to the City of University Heights for the Cedar Road Resurfacing Project from the District 10 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will move to the November 22nd council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions of council for second reading adoption under suspension of rules. Can I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor of suspending the rules say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution 2022-0376, adopting various changes to the Cuyahoga County Non-Bargaining Classification Plan.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Thank you. This resolution was heard in the Human Resources Appointment and Equity Committee on November 1st, 2022. Albert Bouchahine presented the class plan maintenance and the introduction of new classifications for the County Planning Commission that were recommended and approved by the PRC at their November 5th, 2022 meeting. The committee voted unanimously to approve this resolution under suspension of the rules. I ask for your support of this resolution.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0377, adopting various changes to the Cuyahoga County Non-Bargaining Classification Plan for the Sheriff's Department.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Thank you. This resolution was also heard in the Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee on November 1st, 2022. Albert Bouchahine, along with the Sheriff Steve Hammond, Sarah Nemus, Human Resources Administrator for the Sheriff's Department, and Sheba Marshall, Human Resources Director, explained that the Sheriff's Department is requesting to create a Human Resources and Sheriff's Department within that department. Currently, those classifications only reference Human Resources and now will be modified to include Sheriff's Department and Human Resources Department. Second reading suspension was requested and unanimously approved by the committee, and the sheriff wants to get these positions posted and filled as soon as possible. After many questions from the committee, the request was unanimously approved. I ask for your support of this resolution.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Consideration of resolutions of council for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2022-0330, awarding a total sum not to exceed $225,000 to the West Shore Council of Governments for the West Shore Consolidated Dispatch Operational Plan from the District 1 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt. This was an item heard in committee, and I will turn this over to Ms. Baker. This is her request.
Thank you, I appreciate that. The West Shore Council of Governments presented the West Shore Consolidated Dispatch Operational Plan in the Public Safety and Justice Affairs Committee. Westlake Mayor Dennis Clough explained that the purpose of this plan is to study the potential expansion of the current success of fire and EMS consolidation that opened in March 2006 to now include police, expanding the successful collaborative effort of fire and EMS to include police will enhance mutual aid agreements and improve communications, offering greater efficiency, cost effectiveness, and most important, serving the residents of the West Shore. I am pleased to support this operational plan, and the Public Safety Committee unanimously approved this request. I ask for your support of this resolution.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0333, awarding a total sum not to exceed $100,000 to the City of Parma Heights for the Greenbrier Commons Facility Renovations Project from the District 3 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
And, Mr. President, this was heard in Public Works, went through 3 readings. These are from the ARPA funds from District 3. This is a much-needed regional project or renovations that are occurring here, and Mayor Gallo came before the committee to discuss the importance of this to the region and to their community, and I would ask my council colleagues for their support on this important piece of legislation.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0334, awarding a total sum not to exceed $173,930 to the City of Lyndhurst for the purpose of purchasing snow removal equipment from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt.
Second.
I can speak to this. This is a District 11 project and equipment for the city of Lyndhurst, which is well needed in the community, which would have taken them a long while to budget through their capital fund. So this is, I just ask for your support.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0348, awarding a total sum not to exceed $127,500 to the Village of Glen Willow for the Pettibone Road Sanitary Sewer Extension Phase 2 project from the District 6 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Motion to adopt. Mr. President, I'll let the councilperson whose district this is in, these and these subsequent pieces of legislation came before Public Works and went through 3 readings, and I'll let the councilperson discuss this particular.
Yes, the value of this is that Pettibone Road in the sewer district is an integral part of what goes on in District 6 as far as its communication, being part of that. What we did in regards to this and all the other ones from 348 through 360 is that a group of mayors came together that were picked, and community members, and they evaluated all the projects in District 6 ARPA dollars, and they selected this as one of their projects. They felt it was very, very instrumental in what was needed for Glen Willow. Rather than discussing each one individually, I support what they did and how they analyzed it, and some projects got rejected and some were accepted. I encourage everybody to support everything from 348 to 360.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0349, awarding a total sum not to exceed $117,750 to the Village of Glen Willow for the Tinkers Creek Trail North 2 project from the District 6 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Rather than reiterate, the only thing I would add, unrelated to this, is that the wide breadth of projects that we saw through the District 6 is one that the county executive was talking about as far as the library program, as far as expansion through manufacturing ideas, one of which appeared in the environmental, which was the collection of solar panels to collect the sun's rays to help to do water treatment. And so it was a wide berth of everything in regards to from one end to the other, and it was very exciting to see the various programs coming forth.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0350, awarding a total sum not to exceed $250,000 to the Cuyahoga County Public Library for the Solon Innovation Center project from the District 6 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Again, don't want to repeat it, so,
Okay, all right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0352, awarding a total sum not to exceed $250,000 to the Village of Walton Hills for the Northfield Road Sidewalk Project from the District 6 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0353, awarding a total sum not to exceed $220,000 to the Village of Gates Mills for the Mayfield Road Culvert Replacement Project from the District 6 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution 2022-0354, awarding a total sum not to exceed $250,000 to the City of Seven Hills for the North Park Pavilion Project from the District 6 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0355, awarding a total sum not to exceed $30,000 to the Village of Gates Mills for the Public Restroom Renovation Project from the District 6 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0357, awarding a total sum not to exceed $250,000 to the City of Brecksville for the Oaks Road Valley Parkway Connector Trail Project from the District 6 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
May I clarify who seconded the motion?
Sweeney?
Thank you. Resolution 2022-0358, awarding a total sum not to exceed $250,000 to the City of Mayfield Heights for the Aquatic and Community Center Project from the District 6 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0359, awarding a total sum not to exceed $250,000 to Oakwood Village for the Fair Oaks Road Rehabilitation Project from the District 6 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0360, awarding a total sum not to exceed $250,000 to the Village of Moreland Hills for the Jackson Road Rehabilitation Project from the District 6 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt?
Second.
And in the comments I would, as we finish off with this last one, this was an interesting aspect because President Garfield was born only a short distance from where this is located. It's part of their village program to renovate and to update that. But we also had what was important to some communities were road projects. Others were the Hydite Mine, which has been abandoned for years and is being converted into a trail path. And again, my colleague Sonny Simon smiling because a lot of these they got multiple different reasons out there. Some of which are environmental, some are which are actually development of other projects. Obviously, what went on with the Solon facility with the library is exciting to see them actually offering this as think spaces and learning spaces where people can learn new skills and trades and background in this new library vision. And then lastly is the solar panel. So it's a wide breadth, and I think that was the vision of what we were going to do when we created these ARPA dollars, and I think it was achieved. So I would encourage my colleagues to support this last one, Moreland Hills also.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0362, awarding a total sum not to exceed $300,000 to the Chagrin Documentary Film Festival for the purpose of purchasing and renovating permanent office and event space.
Move to adopt.
Second.
What makes this such an impactful piece of legislation is the background first, is that there was a guy named David Ponzi, a young kid who wanted to become a documentary film festival person, and he wanted to learn how to do this. He was in South Africa filming his first one, unfortunately, when he was diagnosed with leukemia and ended up dying shortly thereafter. His mother, Marianne Ponzi, said, "What could I do to recognize what the value of documentary film festivals can be, how they could be?" And so she started something from nothing, created what has now become one of the regional areas. If you got to see any of them this year, one was on this phenomenal cave that's in Vietnam. Again, an environmental aspect is really important as far as what it means. When I say a cave, it has its own ecosystem. It has its own sunlight. It has its own rivers. It has, it's one of the largest, it is the largest cave in the world, so it does not look like what you think of. Another one was about Jesse Owens, recognizing him and replanting the trees to recognize Jesse Owens. And the last one that I'll just mention is all about veterans and how they rebuilt the airplanes that flew our troops over the Second World War to jump on D-Day behind the enemy lines. They rebuilt those airplanes, flew them all the way around the world to get them there. And we had paratroopers jump, one of which was a 100-year-old man jumping tandem on that day. So I encourage you, if you haven't been to it, and I think I would encourage all my contemporaries to support this measure.
Mr. President? I'm co-sponsoring this piece of legislation because the Chagrin Documentary Film Festival is actually not only important to Chagrin Falls and surrounding cities, but also to the county, and national and international recognition has actually been achieved through this effort of one woman. So it's really phenomenal, and I think it's really an economic development driver, and we see ripples effect through the hotels that when people come, and it's just going to get bigger. It was amazing. I was able to go as well.
Well, and thank you for being there.
Thank you.
On that day. I know that was a special treat for Marianne Ponzi to have you there.
Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, if I could add my name, please.
Let's add Cheryl Stevens' name.
And
Councilwoman.
Turner as well, so.
Councilwoman Turner. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Thank you.
At this time, legislation introduced by the executive. Consideration of resolutions for first reading adoption under suspension of rules. Can I have a motion to suspend Rule 9D and 12A?
President, I move to suspend those rules.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution 2022-0398, approving a collective bargaining agreement between Cuyahoga County and International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 18S, technicians representing approximately 6 employees in the Department of Public Works for the period January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2025.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. And this item was previously discussed in executive session, and I ask for my colleagues' support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0399, approving a memorandum of agreement which amends a collective bargaining agreement between Cuyahoga County and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Ohio Council 8, AFL-CIO, Local 1746, for a collective bargaining agreement covering approximately 1,218 employees at the Cuyahoga Job and Family Services, Division of Children and Family Services, and Division of Senior and Adult Services for the period July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, to establish a clerical specialist 2 position, assign a pay range, and provide for a retroactive compensation.
Move to adopt. Second.
Sweeney? Been properly moved and seconded. This item also was previously discussed in executive session, and I do ask for my colleagues' support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0400, amending the 2022-2023 biennial operating budget by providing for additional fiscal appropriations, appropriation transfers, and cash transfers, and amending Resolution Number 2022-0140, dated June 7th, 2022, and Resolution Number R 2022-0364, dated October 11th, 2022.
Move to adopt. Mr. President and colleagues, this resolution is the regular fiscal agenda of budget amendments. The answers to our questions to OBM are on your desks. Most of the items are routine, involving mainly appropriations for grants and capital projects. Notable is the appropriation of $33 million from the Road and Bridge Funds for the Pleasant Valley Bridges project, and $550,000 from the General Fund Capital Improvement Subsidy for a generator for the Board of Elections. I recommend passage on first reading, suspension.
All right, this item will be referred to the, I apologize. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. Consideration of resolutions for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution 2022-0401, adopting the 2022-2023 biennial operating budget and capital improvements program annual update for 2023.
This item will be referred to the committee of the whole.
Resolution 2022-0402, declaring that public convenience and welfare requires the rehabilitation of Smith Road from Sheldon Road to Pearl Road in the city of Middleburg, in the city of Middleburg Heights. Total estimated project costs, $2 million, finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's cost of said improvement.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2022-0403, making an award on requisition 10548 to Perk Company Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $3,554,102.65 for the resurfacing of South Green Road from Cedar Road to Mayfield Road in the city of South Euclid in connection with the fiscal year 2021-2024 Transportation Improvement Program.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2022-0404, making an award on requisition 10101 to Cold Harbor Building Company in the amount not to exceed $2,248,500 for the purchase of replacement generators located at the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Building.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2022-0405, authorizing Cuyahoga County match funding forgivable loans to various organizations in the total amount not to exceed $5 million for various projects in connection with the State of Ohio Brownfield State of Ohio Brownfield Remediation Funding Match Program for the period December 1st, 2022 through November 30th, 2025 for the various organizations, items A through R.
This item will be referred to the Community Development Committee.
$709,482.35 for the purchase of Palo Alto Networks hardware, licenses, and subscription services for 4 firewalls for the period of 3 years.
This item will be referred to the Committee of the Whole.
Resolution 2022-0407, authorizing an amendment to a contract with Microsoft Corporation for Microsoft Premier Training and Support Services for the period November 1st, 2017 through December 5th, 2022, to extend the time period to December 5th, 2023, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $685,267.
This item will be referred to the Committee of the Whole.
Resolution 2022-0408, authorizing an amendment to a contract with Med Mutual Life Insurance Company for group life, voluntary life, and accidental death insurance for county employees for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2023, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,871,168.
This item will be referred to the Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee.
Resolution 2022-0409, making an award on requisition 9686 to Vision Service Plan in the amount not to exceed $1,500,000 for vision insurance for county employees and their eligible dependents for the period January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2025.
This item will be referred to the Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee.
Resolution 2022-0410, making an award on requisition 9659 to Delta Dental Plan of Ohio, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $9 million for dental insurance for county employees and their eligible dependents for the period January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2025.
This item will be referred to the Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee.
Resolution 2022-0411, making an award on requisition 9575 to Alliant Insurance Services, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $4,648,940 for insurance brokerage and risk management services for the period January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2025.
This item will be referred to the Committee of the Whole.
Resolution 2022-0412, adopting the Cuyahoga County 2022-2027 All Hazards Mitigation Plan.
This item will be referred to the Public Safety and Justice Affairs Committee.
Resolution 2022-0413, making an award on requisition 10389 to Mental Health Services for Homeless Persons, Inc., doing business as Frontline Service, in the amount not to exceed $868,300 for the Children Who Witness Violence program for the period December 1st, 2022 through November 30th, 2024.
This item will be referred to the Health, Human Services, and Aging Committee.
Resolution 2022-0414, authorizing an amendment to a contract with Educational Service Center of Northeast Ohio for fiscal agent services for the Families and Schools Together program, FAST Work activities, and parent services for the period January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2023, to change the scope of services effective October 1st, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $654,000.
This item will be referred to the Health, Human Services, and Aging Committee.
Resolution 2022-0415, making an award on requisition 7099 to Emerald Development and Economic Network, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $1,935,300 for rapid rehousing services for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2023.
This item will be referred to the Health, Human Services, and Aging Committee. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading.
Resolution 2022-0344, making an award on requisition 7934 to Patrick Engineering, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $759,926 for engineering services for the replacement of Shaft Road, Bridge number 0289, over the West Creek in the City of Independence, effective upon contract signature of all parties through October 31st, 2025.
This item will move to the November 22nd council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2022-0384, making an award on a purchase order to the safety company doing business as MTech Company in the amount not to exceed $606,647 for the state contract purchase of one 2023 Gap Vax combination jet vacuum truck for the Sanitary Engineering Division.
This item will move to the November 22nd council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2022-0388, authorizing an amendment to a contract formerly known as Contract Number 472 with Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board for the Mental Health and Substance Abuse Addiction Diversion Center for the period December 8th, 2020 through December 31st, 2022, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2023, to expand the scope of services effective upon contract signature of all parties, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $4,363,012.
This item will move to the November 22nd council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2022-0389, authorizing an amendment to a master contract with various municipalities and providers for various services for the Community Social Services Program for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2023, to change the terms and scope of services for the original 27 providers, to add 7 providers effective July 1st, 2022, and for additional funds in the total amount not to exceed $939,854.76, and to remove Eliza Bryant Village effective August 31st, 2022, for the items listed A through H.
This item will move to the November 22nd council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption.
Page 20, Council President.
Page 20. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading adoption under suspension of rules. Can I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution 2022-0342, amending the 2022-2023 biennial operating budget for 2022 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations, appropriation transfers, and cash transfers.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, my colleagues, this resolution is a special fiscal agenda. It appropriates $5 million from the opiate settlement for the Opiate Innovation Fund. Further legislation is required to contract for the operation of the fund. If the program is highly successful, it could be expanded to a larger amount at a later date. This allocation comprises only about 4% of our opiate settlement funds. Given that our current efforts are at best preventing the problem from getting worse, it makes total sense to invest these funds to find new solutions. I recommend passage on second reading suspension.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0381, amending the 2022-2023 biennial operating budget for 2022 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations, appropriation transfers, and cash transfers for the Department of Health and Human Services.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, my colleagues, this is also a special fiscal agenda item. It appropriates $2.5 million of the $5 million currently in the Social Impact Fund for a Pay for Success program to help National Guard personnel take advantage of state scholarship funds to complete college or other post-secondary training. The program will use a navigator to assist potential scholarship recipients to enter college or training and then complete their programs. The county will make payments toward the cost of the program based on success in achieving enrollment, persistence in remaining in school, and program completion. We are hoping that success with this program will motivate the state of Ohio to use it as a model and fund a statewide program. This program also requires additional legislation to approve contracts. I recommend passage on second reading suspension.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Mr. Chair, can I have my name added to that? Thank you.
That Councilwoman Conwell's name. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0382, amending the 2022-2023 biennial operating budget for 2022 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations, appropriation transfers, and cash transfers for the Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Children and Family Services.
Thank you. Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, this was thoroughly discussed in the Health and Human Services Committee. This is an appropriation to transfer funds, so I ask my colleagues for their support to pass this under second reading suspension.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution 2022-0383, requesting authority to apply for grant funds from Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordinating Agency in the amount of $1 million for the Lake Road Clifton Boulevard project in the cities of Lakewood and Rocky River in connection with the Cuyahoga County Lakefront Access Plan, in connection with the 2023 Transportation for Livable Communities Initiative Implementation Program.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
And, Mr. President, Director Dever came before Public Works to discuss this legislation. As part of the grant application process, it was required to come before the legislative body to get permission to apply, and that's what he did. And I would ask my colleagues' support on this important piece of legislation under suspension of the rules.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I strongly support the legislation and ask my name be added as a sponsor.
Well, as I-
Councilman Miller's name, Councilwoman Conwell. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0385, approving and accepting a plat covering the vacation of a certain portion of Station Road located in the city of Brecksville in connection with the Cleveland Metropolitan Park improvements. Ordering the vacation of a certain portion of Station Road located in the city of Brecksville, Cuyahoga County, Ohio, in connection with the Cleveland Metropolitan Park improvements, and ordering all proceedings copied into the proper road record of the county by the county engineer.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
And, Mr. President, this was discussed early in Public Works, and this is part of a multi-step process in vacating this property in Brecksville to the Metro Parks, and I would ask my colleagues' support on this as well.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0386, authorizing an amendment to an agreement with Chagrin Valley Dispatch Council for dispatch operation services for law enforcement activities for the period April 28th, 2021 through December 31st, 2022, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2024, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,944,501.71.
Move to adopt.
Second. Conwell.
Mr. President, this was heard in committee, and I believe the caption sufficiently tells us what is involved in this legislation. The committee recommends passage.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0387, making an award on requisition 9001 for a membership participation agreement with Chagrin Valley Dispatch Council in the amount not to exceed $4,419,735.32 for the purchase of handheld portable radios and accessories for various officers of the Sheriff's Department and Juvenile Justice Center for the period January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2027.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, again, this was heard in committee. The caption is sufficient, but these are the lifeline between our officers on the ground and back to the home base lifeline, if you will, especially in the jails, both in the juvenile and our downtown jail. And this is all new equipment to get everybody on the same page. So committee recommends passage.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0390, authorizing an amendment to a contract with Young Women's Christian Association of Greater Cleveland, also known as YWCA, for emergency shelter services for single adult women at the Norma Herr Women's Shelter, located at 2227 Payne Avenue in Cleveland, for the period January 1st, 2021 through August 31st, 2022, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $917,264.
Move to adopt.
Second.
This was heard in the Health and Human Services and Aging Committee, and I don't know why I did not sign my name. So, Mr. President, if I could please have my name added and ask my colleagues for their support. These are needed services in our community.
All right, let's add the councilwoman's name, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Consideration of a resolution for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2022-0372, authorizing an amendment to a contract with Integrated Precision Systems, Inc. for maintenance and support on the Enterprise Network Security System for the period January 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2022, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2024, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $869,156.66.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, as was heard in committee, the sheriff testified these are necessary for the IDs that we have and all the employees have throughout Cuyahoga County. And this is to upgrade and back up the system. Committee recommends passage.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Consideration of an ordinance for first reading and referral to committee.
Ordinance 2022-0010, providing for adoption of modifications of Cuyahoga County non-bargaining salary Schedule A and authorizing various salary changes for unclassified employees.
This item will be referred to the Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee. Consideration of an ordinance for third reading adoption.
Ordinance 2022-0009, providing for modifications to and adoption of certain sections of the Cuyahoga County Employee Handbook.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Thank you. This ordinance was first heard in the Human Resources Appointment and Equity Committee on September 20th, 2022. Pat Smock, on behalf of Human Resources and Human Resources Director Sheba Marshall, explained the 17 changes to the Employee Handbook vetted by the Law Department and reviewed by the Personnel Review Commission. 15 changes were under review. The committee was presented with a good understanding of the proposed changes and made suggestions for improvement. After those improvements were made, the handbook was again reviewed and sent to all members of council for their review. The committee unanimously approved the changed employee handbook, and I ask for your support of this ordinance for third reading adoption.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Miscellaneous committee reports. Are there any committee reports?
Mr. President,
Councilman Miller.
my colleagues, the Committee of the Whole will meet to continue the budget update process on Monday, November 14th from 1 to 5 p.m. There will be an additional Committee of the Whole to continue the budget process and handle 3 IT-related resolutions to be held on Tuesday afternoon, November 22nd, at a time to be chosen by Council President Jones. Thank you.
Mr. President, Public Works will meet next week at its regularly scheduled time.
President Safety, Tuesday, 1 o'clock.
HHS, Wednesday, it's regularly scheduled time at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Mr. President, Council Operations, Intergovernmental Relationships, and Public Transportation will be meeting at 3 p.m. on Tuesday.
All right.
Mr. President,
Yes.
the HR committee, I believe, will be met by Councilman Gallagher. The ones that are on the agenda today, I'll be out of town for the next 2 weeks.
Any more reports?
Community development will be at a soon-to-be noted time.
All right, excellent. All right. Well, if nothing else holds our attention.
Mr. President,
Yes.
under miscellaneous, I would like to have a point of personal privilege. Thank you. I'd just like to make, a couple of comments. As everyone know, yesterday's election to reelect me to County Council did not end for me to continue in 2023, but I am proud that we ran such a positive campaign. Supporting a friend of mine that is honest, a 20-year resident of Westlake, and a 25-year police officer that was also running for the 16th Ohio House District with the highest of integrity and did nothing inappropriate is not a license for a council colleague to attack and discredit me. The mailer that went out on Saturday before the election, based on the nasty Cleveland.com podcast comments by Chris Quinn, was below the belt and uncalled for by a council colleague. I would sincerely like to thank the voters for their years of supporting me throughout my political career. Along with my small business background of 37 years, it has been quite a journey. I think that I have left my mark here at the county, and my district has been served to the best of my ability. I wish Mr. Kelly the best next year as he serves District 1. We have a lot of issues to overcome, and that will take serious work to achieve. Lastly, when a door closes, a window opens. I look forward to spending more time with my husband and family and whatever opportunities present itself in the future. Thank you for that point of personal privilege. I appreciate it.
Mr. President, may I? Are we referring to me, Councilwoman?
I think out of respect to this council, I do not name names.
Okay, may I
If
continue?
you have a comment, you may
Thank
take
you, Mr.
opportunity to
President.
comment to the.
I believe she was referring to me, and I don't know what she's talking about. My daughter had a race. I actively helped my daughter, and I would like her to explain to me where she's getting this information from.
All right, well, let's do this.
Yeah,
We
I
don't
think it's
necessarily have to-
highly inappropriate.
It's highly
Councilman-
inappropriate
You've had
that you
opportunity to
brought this
comment.
up in the committee
Well, if you
setting
were-
here, because we're not supposed to disparage each other on the
Exactly,
council
so
dais.
I
Is
did
that
not
right,
mention-
Mr. President?
Let's end it. You each
Yes.
had opportunity to speak.
Is that
And we will
true, though?
end
You're
it.
not allowed to disparage any council members?
No one's name was mentioned.
We will end
That's
it.
that petty.
Let's end it. You've each had opportunity to speak. We will move on.
Thank you, I
All right,
appreciate
is there
it.
any other miscellaneous business?
Council, I'm sorry.
We have, Mr. President, another item on the agenda, but I will say, if I may, that the piece that did go out to my colleague Baker was awful, quoting Cleveland.com's podcast.
And I fully agree with it being off.
Yeah, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the podcast, and it was pretty horrendous how my colleague was characterized in terms of supporting communities through ARPA funding, and that seemed to be the slant of the podcast, and it was just, I want to say it was really negative and not representative of what we do here as council members in supporting communities. That's the point I want to make. It was an
Absolutely.
unfair characterization from Cleveland.com.
Mr.
Thank you, I
President?
appreciate
Heard
it.
and understood.
Mr. President? Mr. President, if I could?
Councilman, yes.
Yeah, along those lines, I just thought it was important to, emphasize the importance of what we did with those ARPA funds, and the impact they've had on our local communities, and the response from the mayors and the council have been over-the-top positive. And we received a very nice letter from Olmsted Township directed to our colleague, Mr. Gallagher, just indicating what an open process it was, and how impactful it will be on Olmsted Township for the ARPA funding, that they would allow them to do projects that they never would have been able to do otherwise. And I commend every one of my colleagues for the foresight and fortitude of moving forward with those funds in the proper manner. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I want to acknowledge the fortitude of our colleagues as well for moving forward. We knew what we were going into when we decided to do what we have done. The community has benefited. Our mayors have benefited. All of the community knows, despite what was written in a paper, we know the good work and the community has acknowledged it. And we're not moved by the paper. We do. I would say if the Cleveland Browns listen to Mary Kay Cabot, then they're doing the wrong thing if they're making their decisions off what the newspaper says. So we have made the best decision that we could make for the community. And I'm proud of the work that we've done, proud of the work that each one of you have done. And I'm happy to serve with each and every one of you. All right.
Mr.
Okay.
President,
Any
since
final
we're on that,
comments? Sure.
on that
Sure.
bandwagon, so I want to give a point of privilege of working alongside each of you in terms of the ARPA funds. None of us ever thought that our districts could benefit so closely to the different needs that they have. Across the spectrum, we have some richer neighborhoods, we have some poorer neighborhoods, and I kind of have that poorer neighborhood. And so it was very good to some of the legislation that I was pushing behind the scenes for the county to move forward in that direction in terms of helping seniors in their homes and giving them some help with their assistance and fixing their dilapidated homes, because we know we must keep them in their homes. It's cheaper for the county versus them going to a nursing home. So I was just very proud to be able to show the next county executive what we could possibly do and how beneficial it is to help our seniors here in this in this county. So thank you.
Any other
Mr.
comments?
Chairman,
Yes,
a point of privilege.
yes.
Running for office sometimes means the only person who likes you, maybe your mother, your father, and your spouse. And all of us who are at this table know that. It is unfortunate that third parties don't respect our endeavors to do the very best we can to make this community county-wide stronger. My colleague may not be here for the next term to begin, but I appreciate her endeavor to work with me and stretch her hand across the river. And I will always be grateful for the opportunities she's provided to me. Even though we disagreed on some things, we agreed on other things, and we definitely agreed on doing good things for the people of Cuyahoga County. And so with that, as a positive note, I want to congratulate her on whatever new window or door is opened for her. Thank you, Nan.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. At this time, reports by clerk on legislation withdrawn at request of sponsor.
Resolution 2022-0341 has been withdrawn at the request of the sponsor.
All right. At this time, if nothing else holds our attention, this council meeting is